Hello, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing another family game night video because I believe it is important for families to sit around and converse. And what better way than over a tabletop role playing game where everybody can have fun, talk about the day, bullshit, and maybe have some snacks, enjoy yourselves. Families need to spend that quality time together. And there is no better way, in my opinion, than tabletop role playing games. This particular video is about I touched on this when I did the Star Trek video. Go check that one out. But this particular event happened in a Star Trek the role playing game session years ago. My gaming group wanted me to run Star Trek the role playing game. I said, cool, no problem. I love Star Trek. Anybody who knows me knows that. And in my opinion, the best version is FASA, F-A-S-A, their game from 1982. Brilliant game, easy to play, easy to run, very basic, but very modifiable, very doable. You can do a variety of different things with it. And like usual, we drew randomly for the different positions that people were going to play. That's how we usually did it. That way nobody knew who was going to be the captain and, in charge. Nobody knew the rank or anything like that. So, it was going to be good. And we had enough people to play all the positions, so we were good. The name of this video is Too Much Security. And I touched on this in that Star Trek the role-playing game video. Go check that one out. Mark was going to be the commanding officer. Derek was the executive officer. Edward was the science officer. Andrew was the medical officer. Michael was the helmsman. Bobby was the security chief. David was the engineer. Chris was the navigator. And Donald was communications. And all of it was drawn randomly, so nobody was slighted. Excuse me. And they made up their characters. And I helped each one as they needed it, but they made up their own characters as they went along. I let them pick which skills, where to put points in for those skills. So they built the character that they wanted to play, which is cool. Here's where the problem was when the mission was they were going into not uncharted space, but on the fringe of uncharted space, and they had one colony out there, and they had lost contact with this colony. So they went out and they were going to go and investigate and find out what's going on. I want to say the name of this ship was the Potemkin, and so the Potemkin moves in. It comes out of warp in system, and it's moving towards the colony, and they're scanning it, and they're scanning weird life forms, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. And there's an alien race that has taken over the colony, and they're subjugating the people, and they've got them imprisoned, and so the ship has to fix the situation. They've got to negotiate or drive off these aliens, and negotiation in this is always the first course of action. And Mark knew this. The problem was he couldn't get any information on these aliens because the science officer couldn't run the sensors. He couldn't, and he had no. His science skills were atrocious. Mark was needing information, and the science officer had almost no scientific training, just the bare basics, and was failing almost every role. The communications officer couldn't send messages. The doctor couldn't give any useful medical information. The engineer couldn't do anything more than basic maintenance. And it was a nightmare for any captain when you go into a situation and your people can't give you any information. You're literally going in blind. And poor Mark, he was trying hard to get information. But when the captain can do all their jobs better than them, what's the point? He should have went in a shuttle. But everyone was a Rambo clone who was a phaser marksman and knew ground tactics better than Napoleon. They had that going on. If it came to fighting those aliens, they were, They had it going on. Everybody on the ship could do that. But that wasn't the first course of action, because Starfleet is peaceful exploration. They weren't trying to communicate or negotiate. They were ready to kill everything out there. You know? And so that's one of the things you have to watch out for. And I mentioned this in that video. It's one of the things you have to watch out for when you're playing this game. Because in this, it's a team game. Everybody has a function, and if you can't perform your function, you're useless to the team. Doesn't matter how good you are at fighting. But that was, Mark had a hell of a thing. He actually had to call in help from another starship. Okay? And he had to work in communications to do that, because Donald couldn't do it. And it was a nightmare. I felt so bad for the guy. After that mission was over, they had the other ship come in and take over, and they went back. And Mark got everybody off of there and said, "You can keep the same positions, that's fine, but make up new characters. We're gonna fix this." And he fired every damn body. Just cleaned house. And you can't really blame him, because if you can't do the job, what's the point? You folks have a good day. God bless one and all.